So, not being a devoted Star Trek fan, when you first looked at this project, how did you decide what you had to keep to make it look and feel like Star Trek, and then where you wanted to take it in new directions?
Years ago, I'd written a script for a version of Superman that was reviewed online, and I did some things in that script that were a little bit beyond, sort of, I think, crossing the line a little bit in terms of what people who love Superman would accept. For example, Lex Luthor was a Kryptonian, which apparently is a recipe for disaster in the eyes of fans. What I learned was there are certain sort of tenets of different stories and characters that people hold dear to a point of it being sacrilege to change them. So I feel like I learned a lesson a little bit, not to say be afraid to make creative choices, but if you're going to deal with something as sort of iconic and ingrained in the pop culture as Star Trek, make it Star Trek. Like, invest in Star Trek. You know, the Enterprise needs to more or less be the Enterprise. The look of the wardrobe, obviously the characters that we luckily inherited, the phaser, the communicator, that kind of stuff. Do that. Yes, make it work at high resolution, treat it as well as you can, but so there was just certain things that felt to me like we needed to keep them, and those are some of those things.
Was there one radical thing that you're like, I really want to do this, but your producers and writers who know Trek so well said, I wouldn't do that if I were you?
You know, there were along the way, I'm sure, things, nothing that I remember as being a specific, issue. And that's the beauty of this movie was, it was never a challenge for someone like Roberto Orsi, one of our writers, to work on this movie and make it work for, neophytes, people who'd never seen Star Trek. It was never a challenge for me to embrace all that we inherited. And one of the reasons why is that we came up with this device to allow this movie to, on the one hand, be sort of a prequel, an origin story, on the other hand, not literally be a prequel, so that we weren't completely married to exactly the stuff that has come before, and at the same time, we were honoring existing Star Trek canon.